We hope you are all enjoying the student productions of your school. Tonight's event and every event produced by your school during the school year are created, filmed, and produced by the students you love to follow and support. Become a booster of your school's live event coverage by becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to show your support of the athletes and students in your community. As a sponsor, you'll get great visibility for your business, organization, or family by supporting the live productions of your school.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
In a week's time, it's been nothing but in the win column. And tonight looks to be the same story for the Vermillion Tanagers as they have found themselves quite a bit of success here in the past week. On the opposite side, it's a team that continues to build on themselves. And what has been a lot of unknowns so far this season, tonight might be a major testing point for the Mustangs. Good evening and welcome once again to Vermillion High School here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV as we get you set for another night of volleyball action between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Tri-Valley Mustangs. I'm Heath Nimke along with the coach, Jody Zeller. Coach Zeller, looking forward to another exciting matchup between these two schools. But first, let's go back to something we have seen over the past few weeks. How important has it been for the Vermillion Tanagers in their squad to be winning games the way they have been, especially getting it in sweeping fashion, not only against South Sioux City last Thursday, but also Tuesday night against the Bonhomme Cavaliers?
Yeah, I think that's been really important for this time of the year. Is a great big time to build that confidence. Getting going into the conference season here. The DAC-12 is a tough place to play. So it's nice coming into it with a couple of good wins.
Yeah, you mentioned the DAC-12 is a very tough conference to get through, and we're certainly going to see a lot more great teams coming up here in the next couple of weeks, including next week as well with Sioux Falls Christian and the Madison Bulldogs that are in store for the Vermillion Tanagers. But Coach Zeller, as we look at this team, the Tri-Valley Mustangs, a team that has struggled over the past few years, but so far this season they have found wins, but they haven't necessarily came against top A teams or even B teams. They've been getting those victories. What should we expect, or what little do we know about a Tri-Valley Mustang team?
Well, you're right on them. I don't know if they won any matches last year. If they did, it was one. So they are coming in with not much going on in the win category. They have nowhere to go but up, right?
That's right.
In looking at their record and who they've played and what's going on, it looks to me like everything revolves around Madeline Wenzel. She's only a sophomore. She's young, but she's their leader in kills. She's their leader in blocks. She's their leader in the aces. In fact, she's 15th in the whole state of South Dakota in service aces. So I would say they need to slow her down.
I was going to say, it looks like you just pointed out the key target if the Tri-Valley Mustangs want to have some key success and a victory tonight. On the opposite side, the Vermillion Tanagers, as we mentioned, have gotten two big wins after what started off as a slow campaign for this crew. A lot of great girls have getting going. You look back at the final numbers against the Bonhomme Cavaliers. Who really stood out to you having an impressive performance for the Tanagers?
Well, when I came up here, Brooklyn. Brooklyn was a different player, I felt, on Tuesday night. She looked comfortable, she looked happy, and she was swinging at the ball hard. Now, you have to give some of that credit to her passers because she can't be successful like that unless the girls are passing her the ball. And, of course, to Claire. Claire always gets credit, whether the setter oftentimes gets overlooked, but she's the one feeding Brooklyn those balls that are really good for her. But Brooklyn led them with 17 kills on Tuesday night. That's an impressive performance.
That really is an impressive performance. I mean, no matter, even if it's against a Class B team, Class A, or Double A, that's still really impressive. What she was able to do should be exciting tonight. We're going to step aside for our first break, and when we come back, we talk to head coach Amy Nelson more about the success of the Tanagers here in the past week. That's on the way next on Live Ticket TV.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Back here at Vermillion High School as we are getting you set for some great volleyball action tonight between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Tri-Valley Mustangs. And what is expected to be a great matchup. Both teams trying to continue to build on an early season so far. And earlier today, I was able to catch up with head coach Amy Nelson and talk more about the season so far, and more specifically where the Vermillion Tanagers are at after they have found themselves with 2 straight victories and 2 straight sweeps over South Sioux City last Thursday and this past Tuesday against Bonhomme. Here she is on our pregame show. It's head coach of the Vermillion Tanager girls, Amy Nelson. Back on the pregame show as we're joined here with Coach Amy Nelson. Coach Nelson, we were talking to you a week ago, getting ready for South Sioux City, seeing if we couldn't pick up a huge victory. Well, in a week's time now, you've got 2 victories and also 2 sweeps, including a big victory against Bonhomme on Tuesday. Coach Nelson, how does that feel? How are the girls feeling? What's the vibe right now that your squad is having going into this game tonight?
Well, we're feeling really good. It's exciting that we've won 2 games in a row. I'm really proud of the girls. I like I say, I get on about communication, but when they communicate, they're winning and they're having a great time. So tonight we're gonna do it again. We're going for 3.
Looking at, and we want you to get 3 in a row. And looking at these girls, I mean, there's so many different girls that we can look at that are always impressive. There's a few different ones, but when it came to Tuesday night against the Bonhomme Cavaliers, walk a little bit through more of that, what happened, who were the key players for your squad that did get that sweep over the Cavaliers?
Okay, Brooklyn Voss, I call her Brooklyn Voss, the boss. She had an amazing game. She had 16 kills, wow. Yes, and 14 blocks. But it wouldn't be without Claire Doty, the setter. She had 33 assists. She also had nine digs, and that's great, and 5 blocks. I mean, Claire, she can play anywhere. She really can. But her and Brooklyn, they just gel. They gel together, and it's great. And then Miss Ani Barnett, she had 3 ace serves, along with Brooke Jensen had 4 ace serves. The serves were really, really, really great, and the girls do a good job at that, and I've told them that. And then, let's see, Serena Gap, did I say that she had 6 kills? Brooke Jensen, 5 kills, and then Miss Kelsey O'Neill, she's our libero, 19 digs. She does a great job, and she has a fun attitude. So I'm enjoying it.
Girls are getting it done, I say. Yeah. You can just tell in your attitude. I'm not saying that you were mad in the past, but you're just, everyone has a smile on their face. We can see the excitement with this squad. Now as we continue, I know we're getting kind of into that meat and grind of the schedule. The first few weeks of school are now over with. Everyone knows who each other is. They know your system. Getting ready for the Tri-Valley Mustangs. What's the look at this game? And just not worrying about the Mustangs, but taking care of Tanager volleyball tonight.
If the girls communicate, if they hustle, and I always say it starts out with a good pass. And, if Miss Kelsey keeps doing what she's doing, then it'll start with a good pass and then a nice set from Miss Claire, and then we have a lot of hitters. So if we can just play, communicate, we'll do it.
We look at the 6 big players that you always bring out, even 7. Is there any more depth that you continue to look at the bench? Maybe even players on JV? Or are you kind of settled right now? Because, no offense, when I look at your varsity roster, it is very, very small compared to other teams. Is there any more decisions that are going to be made and changing things up? Or do you like where you're at right now?
I love this question. So, no, this is great. So actually one of the girls texted me and said, hey, Coach, can I talk to you? And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And it was positive. She said, I just wanted to let you know that us girls, we really like our rotation. And that meant a lot to me because, they're starting to trust me. They trust each other, and they just connect. They connect as a team. And so that was wonderful for her to let me know that. So, but also Miss Bailey Baylor went in the other night, and she hadn't been at practice a few days before, not feeling well, and she went in and she played great. And I was proud of her, and the girls were too. We do have a small varsity team, and there could be more jerseys to hand out, and I just keep telling the younger girls, just keep trying your hardest, and you'll get one.
Well, keep on trying. We're doing great. Give us a quick breakdown. Anything you really know on a Mustangs team that has been down the past several years? Anything that you're keyed on, or just right now focused on the Tanagers?
Right now I'm just focused on the Tanagers. I did watch a little bit of one of their games, and we can beat them. So
there she is. It is head coach Amy Nelson here on our pregame show as the Vermillion Tanagers are looking to take on the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Again, Vermillion coming in at 3-6 so far. Right now with the Tri-Valley Mustangs, we talked about it earlier with head coach Jody Zeller, or I should say former head coach Jody Zeller. We still call her the coach up here. Not knowing a whole lot against Tri-Valley. We heard it from Coach Nelson as well. How do you scout for a team like the Mustangs, or just anyone in general, when you don't necessarily have a whole lot of time to get ready for the next team after playing on a Tuesday and you had vacation on Monday?
Yeah, I think it comes down to put the focus back on your kids. What can you manage on your side of the court? If they pass ball and hit the ball at Tri-Valley, I do think they will be successful tonight. But they have to do their job first. And if they do their jobs, they are not going to have to worry about Tri-Valley.
That's right, and trying to get the sweep as well. Vermillion, again, right now on a 3-0 win against South Sioux City a week ago, and a 3-0 win against Bonhomme on Tuesday night. Looking to keep that success rolling as they take on the Tri-Valley Mustangs, and looking closely at this matchup as well. One common opponent that both teams have seen recently, it was against Lennox. You may remember a little over a week ago, Vermillion lost to the Orioles 0-3, but in Tri-Valley, the Mustangs got a 3-2 thriller of a victory over Lennox. Could that be an indication to anything we see tonight? We'll find out. We're going to step aside for our national anthem, and when we come back, it's volleyball time between the Tri-Valley Mustangs and the Vermillion Tanagers. That's on the way next here on Live Ticket TV.
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
We hope you are all enjoying the student productions of your school. Tonight's event and every event produced by your school during the school year are created, filmed, and produced by the students you love to follow and support. Become a booster of your school's live event coverage by becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to show your support of the athletes and students in your community. As a sponsor, you'll get great visibility for your business, organization, or family by supporting the live productions of your school.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
With the lights off here in Vermillion, they are introducing the starting lineups for both the Tri-Valley Mustangs and the Vermillion Tanagers. And while we have a quick chance, let's take a look at both teams and who will be focusing on tonight for the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Again, coming into this matchup, 3-3 overall. Some names to get familiar with tonight include number 2, Mackenzie Atwood, number 4, Shania Hansen, number 6, Brooklyn Steiben, number 11, Natalie Wenzel, which Coach Zeller mentioned earlier, the key player for the Tri-Valley Mustangs, number 14, Megan Wenzel, the senior, number 15, Ava Pearson, and also number 18, Emery Pearson, the sophomore for the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Of course, for the Vermillion Tanagers, a lot of familiar names that we have seen over the past week now, along with Barnett, Voss, Puckett, Jensen, Doty, O'Neill, and Gap, all set to be key factors tonight for the Vermillion Tanagers. Coach Zeller, we always get into it. Who is the player for Vermillion that you're focusing on tonight needs to have a great game if the Tanagers want to get a victory?
I'm going to put that on Kelsey O'Neill tonight. I think it's going to come down to the pass tonight, I do.
Yeah, Kelsey O'Neill is going to be a key factor and see how the Vermillion Tanagers can do. And as you mentioned, just setting up the pass as she gets introduced. It's a great crowd on hand, not as full in the student section as we have seen over the past couple of weeks. That, of course, is due to some soccer activities that is going on tonight. We'll see if we can't get you some soccer scores going on as well. And don't forget, Live Ticket TV will have your football coverage beginning tomorrow at 5 o'clock as well, with the pregame show kickoff set for 6 o'clock. Vermillion versus Millbank. Of course, that is a matchup from the semifinals that we saw a year ago where Millbank beat the Vermillion Tanagers. A lot, though, has changed since those two teams met less than a year ago, I should say. The Tanagers in their white home uniforms, numbers and letters that are in red, outlined by black. The Mustangs in their traditional away uniforms that are in all maroon, numbers and letters that are in white, outlined by black. And we are set and ready to go here at Vermillion High School. For the Tri-Valley Mustangs and the Vermillion Tanagers, again, Vermillion coming in 3-6 on their season. The Mustangs 3-3 overall. You could certainly look at schedules and say Vermillion has played more games, but they have certainly played much tougher opponents as well. Claire Doty is set to serve, and we are underway here in Vermillion as the first shot, a great spike that in fact comes back into play but hits the ground. But Mustangs come with a lot of force to open up with. That was set up by the senior Ava Pearson to get the point for the Mustangs. That was pretty impressive.
That was a great play to start with. Anytime you can get a play going to that right side hitter, that's a great way to start.
So the Tri-Valley Mustangs open up, leading it 1-0 over the Vermillion Tanagers. Some great passing going on, but a great block there at the net. Pearson's in, both Pearsons, Ava and Emery, both there to block, and the Mustangs now lead it 2-0. Up to serve right now is Megan Wenzel, and this one goes a little too far, out of bounds, and Vermillion on the service error will get the point. Now 2-1, and up to serve will be Barnett for the Vermillion Tanagers. This one gets over nicely, set up once again to Pearson. Doty, though, puts her hand up to save it, eventually played over to Gap, and right down the line she goes for the point.
That was a great pickup by Doty. You're right there. You know, that right side, when you hit over there, it often takes your setter out of the play. So that's good for the other team.
And a great opportunity for Gap that she just went right down the line with it and saw the open space. Great dig there by O'Neill, sent over by Gap. As the Mustangs collect, Pearson comes once again, but this one goes into the student section, and Vermillion now on a 3-0 run. They have their first lead, 3-2.
I almost wonder if that's something they saw in tape, because that's twice Serena's tried to go down the line already.
3-2, the Tanagers lead it over the Tri-Valley Mustangs, just bumped over this time. Here comes Vermillion with Brooke Jensen and the hard kill, and Vermillion right now finding all the momentum.
Yeah, that was set up by a great pass there.
Tri-Valley Mustangs brought a great crowd as well here to Vermillion. In fact, I would say the Mustangs crowd outnumbers the Vermillion Tanagers, but right now, Mustangs don't have much to cheer about as this one goes out. It's now 5-2.
Ani's a great server, so having her early up in the serving rotation can get you on a real strong roll here. Oh.
The commentator's curse comes into a factor as Ani puts it into the netting. Will give the point to the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Both teams have now had a service error in the game. 5-3, Vermillion leads it over the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Substitution is made as coming out will be Ava Pearson, and it will be Gran, the junior, who will be checking in for the first time tonight for the Mustangs. And she is up to serve. Gran gets over nicely, set it right over to O'Neill, to Doty, to Gap, and Gap, the strong hit. Mustangs trying to save it, which they're able to do so. And here come Vermillion. The reset back to Gap once again, not as much power. It's tipped by the blockers. Mustangs just send it over. Passing set up nicely. Jensen once again, but the back row there to cover for the Mustangs. And a rally continues. Jensen awkwardly just gets it over for Vermillion on just the second hit. Now digging it up once again on the Tanagers. Doty has to get over. The rally continues. Mustangs just send it over. Doty there to get. O'Neill now to Gap. Dug up by the Librero for the Mustangs. Here they come, Tri-Valley, but still the rally continues. A battle at the net, and now they're saying a carry made by Doty, and finally the point goes to the Tri-Valley Mustangs.
Great rally, and it wasn't just passes going back and forth. They were hitting the ball at each other, so that's some good defense there on both sides.
Have to love some volleyball action, as again this one has been quick moving so far. Vermillion with a 1-point lead, and there a strong kill for the Vermillion Tanagers and Puckett, the senior.
I think that was Brooke Jensen, actually, that put that down there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brooke Jensen with the kill. Looked the wrong number there. And now Jensen's up to serve. Voss just checked in a moment ago, coming in for O'Neill. And now miscommunication leaves the gap, and the Mustangs get a point. 6-5. Jensen will come out as O'Neill will come back in.
Okay, here comes Wenzel to serve. Remember, she's at the top of the numbers in the state in serves, but we did get her through the whole front row without her getting a kill.
That is very true. And again, I wonder how much you can look at those numbers too, Coach Zeller, with just, I'm not saying anything against competition. It's just not the same the way Vermillion and the teams they have faced so far. But a huge kill. And this is someone that's interesting. This, I believe, I want to say that's not 10 that you see on your program right now on the varsity side. That's actually Victoria O'Toole, who has played CJV and now varsity. So I wonder how much she's going to be in service, and she had those same type of kills earlier for the Mustangs.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I reffed the C game tonight. I hadn't even put that together yet, and I remember her from it. So.
Yes. As I said, she had a lot of great kills, a lot of speed that came with her. But again, yeah, you look at this on our roster here, number 10 is different than as we see it, but that is O'Toole. Like I said, I didn't catch much of the JV game to see how much she played. And how many sets are you allowed to get into play?
They are allowed 7 sets. They are allowed to play 7 sets a night.
7 sets a night.
Yes.
So, well, Tri-Valley did sweep Vermillion in both games on the C and JV level. So technically, she is allowed to play at least 3 sets of varsity tonight. Again, just a freshman, but rally continues right now. As currently it's 8-7, the Vermillion Tanagers lead, but Mustangs able to score and now make it 8-8.
You know, for the size of school that Tri-Valley is, and I know that they can pull from that Sioux Falls area, they're tall.
They're extremely tall. Have a lot of depth that comes with them. And also the roster size. We've already seen that quite a bit, where Vermillion has kept it pretty traditional on who they have with the rotation, but Tri-Valley is certainly making more of options and changes. And they now take back their lead with the latest point, now lead at 9-8. Their second lead here in this first set. Doty tried to set it there to Voss. Voss had to come a long way and just eventually got it over. Pass, gap, down the line. This one, though, just a little too far. And Tri-Valley gets another point.
You know, her growth from the first match I did with you, Heath, tonight, though, you can really see she's growing.
Yep. Great to see, as we mentioned as well in our pregame show with Coach Nelson, a lot more smiles. It seems like all the confidence is just there. And this one, a block at the net. Coach Zeller explained this a little bit more, because that looked just like a block, went right back to Voss. Why'd they blow the whistle?
Because what he's saying is that from his view, they did not touch that ball. The ball hit that white part across the top, so their players didn't touch it.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. 11-9, as this time Voss is able to get the point for the Tanagers, and now it's a 2-point lead for the Mustangs. That looked like a clear block.
You know, from up here, it did look all right.
I was saying, but I guess the officials have a little bit better look than we do. Tanagers have it on their side, trying to get it over. Able to do so. Here come the Mustangs as they keep it alive. O'Neill and Gap almost ran into each other. Pass just knocked over by Barnett. Hard dish into the net. Takes a weird spin off, and a kill there from Julia for the Tri-Valley Mustangs, and back up to a 3-point lead.
Net gods were with her on that one, weren't they? There's just really, that's just pure fluke on those. You're lucky if you can get a touch.
O'Toole checks out. Brooklyn Steiben is back in for the Mustangs, and she is now up to serve. 12-9, a 3-point lead. And Voss tried to just tip it over the two blockers, unable to do so, and the Mustangs score again. Now make it a 4-point lead.
With those tall blockers, Claire's going to have to pull Brooklyn off the net because you're setting her right on the net. She has no chance of getting through that.
Absolutely. We've seen that so far here in this game. This pass, or I should say, trying to get the kill, goes too far, out of bounds, and Vermillion will get the point. And luckily there, because it looked like it almost touched Kelsey O'Neill. She was outstretching her hand almost just to touch it. She had no play on it.
Yeah, she was trying.
13-10, a 3-point lead. And this one, a good call there by the official. Comes awkwardly to Willard. She reaches out her right hand and eventually carries it.
Yeah, if she would close her fist there, I know that, we tell them not to use their fist on almost all hits, but on something like that, if she closes her fist, they won't call the lift.
Yep. And you could see definitely the change in the ball direction as well. It started moving a lot quicker to the left because of the open palm there. 14-10, 4-point lead for the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Set up by Claire Doty. Back to Ani and right down into the second row, finds the gap, and the Tanagers score once again. Puckett is back in as Willett will come out. Coach, what do you got for me?
There's that hit down that line again, though, so that's showing that line is available if they can just hit it.
Yep, and that's now the third point as well. They've been able to find that line and that gap for the Vermillion Tanagers. Well, trying to get the kill there, not able to do so, was Wenzel. She just sent it right into the heart of the defense for the Vermillion Tanagers. And now we're getting a net violation, and Vermillion gets a free point. Draw it within 2 once again. 14-12, 2-point lead for the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Claire Doty up to serve, and she comes up with a huge ace as well and draws it within 1.
Yeah, I wish you could see the float that she gets on the ball and the movement. She's got up and down as well as side-to-side movement.
And when you watch it there, as you mentioned on stream, you just see a ball go over.
Yeah.
You don't see
all the cool stuff she's doing to it.
Yep. And this time, Ani is able to split the gap between 2 blockers, and Vermillion has tied it back up.
Yeah, she literally went right between their arms there, didn't she?
14-14. Vermillion trying to put a run together of their own. In fact, it's now a 4, almost a 5 there, but Mustangs able to save and set it back up. Ani sends it to the back row. Librero not able to handle it there. Atwood. And again, Vermillion now on a 5-0 run, 15-14. To make a reference back, Coach Zeller, this seems a lot like what we saw last Thursday.
I would agree with that. What I'm seeing here, the biggest thing I'm seeing is that we're not making errors.
Nope.
It's not always about how hard. It's about hitting smart, too.
And there's a big block there by Jensen, and Vermillion continues. And now a timeout is called by head coach Justin for the Tri-Valley Mustangs as he needed a break there. Vermillion finds themselves on a 6-0 run and lead it 16-14. But again, we talk about the communication, and I think one big key factor, I think we can, point out a lot of this communication from the Tanagers that has helped them, but also the confidence that we have seen from this squad. How much does that help when you also see victories with it?
Yeah, I think that's huge for them, and you can see they're wearing it on their shoulders. They're light, they're willing to try, they believe they can get a touch on balls, and that comes with success. I'm glad to see it on them.
16-14 right now. It is the Vermillion Tanagers who are on top of the Tri-Valley Mustangs, again on a 6-0 run themselves. Claire Doty up to serve as it continues for her. Attacks Atwood. This one, Pearson. She is great, the senior Ava Pearson so far. Go back to a reference you made earlier. Her size is what really, really helps things out.
Yep, and you can see in our defense, that's one of that, just like they do. They're given the lineup. We give that lineup in our defense as well. You can't possibly cover every spot on the floor. The key is being able to adjust if needed.
16-15. Vermillion Tanagers lead it by 1 in a great block once again by Pearson. And Vermillion and Tri-Valley are now tied up.
Number 15 over there.
Yeah.
She blocks the ball well.
Ava Pearson, as was mentioned, she's just been impressive so
Yeah.
far. We didn't know who exactly we were going to see. It looks like she has stepped up.
I would agree.
And been the key role for the Mustangs. A little bit of miscommunication there, as this time Vermillion's able to get another point. Lead it now 17-16 over the Tri-Valley Mustangs here in set number 1. We saw some close games, and when Pearson right now out there for the Mustangs, they are going to find success.
Well, you know what else is happening there, if you can see that? They've got the Wenzel girl going to the outside, and then they have Pearson on the right side. So your middle blocker has to make a choice. And on that one, Brooke chose wrong, so she was late to the block.
And now with a couple of changes, checking into the game, Gran back in, but Pearson is taken out, so Gran can serve for the Mustangs. So we'll see if that plays a factor. And instantly, it plays a factor because gap goes right to where Ava Pearson just was. Can't handle it. 0-2-0, a little bit on the smaller side. Vermillion's able to get the point 18-17. Going off that, why can't Pearson serve? I mean, it's probably more of just that's not her strength, but why don't you work on that in practice to keep her out there?
Well, that would be key, but remember, if she goes back and serves, she has to play the back row, which means she has to play defense.
That is true.
And it's those taller girls. You hate to call a girl bigger, but those taller girls.
Yep.
Defense sometimes is a little more difficult.
19-18, and again, another point for Vermillion right at that spot where Pearson's no longer covering anymore. We'll see if Vermillion maybe can't finish it out here. 19-18. Great to have you along here on Live Ticket TV. For Vermillion Volleyball, make sure you spread the word. Let everyone know that this is where you can find your home for Vermillion Volleyball. Battle at the net. Doty tips it. No play there. 19-19.
Yeah, and that's a play. There's an example right there. That was all set up, and the bad for our team happened because of the passing. Got to keep that clean.
Well, we're right at that point yet. 19-19, it's anyone's game. A battle at the net. Voss finally gets a hold of it. Tip the fingertips. And now on the third hit, it's able to get over for the Mustangs. Here comes Gap, though. Not set with a good pass. O'Toole just has to save. Eventually, the Mustangs able to get it over. Battle at the net. You got a little nervous there, Coach Zeller. You just knew it was a bad pass.
I knew you guys, when you've been around volleyball as long as I have, you can see that. But I will tell you, when Claire's up there, I would trust her over anyone playing that net up there.
20-19 here in set number 1. Vermillion leads, and we get a whistle with an interference, and it's going to be another point for Vermillion. The second time now we have seen that called against the Tri-Valley Mustangs. And now a timeout called once again, and we're going to step aside and take the timeout with them. We're back here in just a moment on Live Ticket TV as Vermillion leads at 21-19 in set number 1.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota.
Back here in Vermillion as we continue on here in set number 1 after another timeout from Coach Justin Nyhart of the Tri-Valley Mustangs. The timeout works as the Mustangs are able to get a point, now making it 21-20. Again, win by 2. We go to 25. We saw some drama the other night here a week ago.
It was.
Against South Sioux City, 2 different sets that went to some extra points. Set up for Barnett. Block there at the net. Vermillion comes once again. Barnett sent that into the top of the net, but somehow got over. And now Voss just lobs it over the defenders. Tri-Valley can't handle it and get a big point.
That's something I'll give Brooklyn credit for. You know, I didn't even work on that a lot in the past years, but she is really smart with moving the ball around and knowing when she needs to maybe mix it up.
22-20. We are seeing the bigger size of the Mustang back in there as well with those front blockers, and we saw it that time. And Ava Pearson, a big key factor, back in there as well. Just got a touch on it. But the rally continues as the Mustangs have it. Trying to get a strong kill here. Took a tip off of Jensen, and a point for the Tri-Valley Mustangs and Erica, the senior middle hitter for Tri-Valley.
Yep, just enough of a touch to slow it down that Serena looked like she was out of position. She wasn't. Just the slow down caused her to miss that one.
Yep. 22-21. Speaking of gap, it goes to her. O'Neal just gets it over. I don't think she was necessarily trying to do that, but again, didn't have necessarily her face to the right spot. And there again, she's just trying a little bit too much to be cute. Sets up Ani the wrong way. Ani sent it over, but not, of course, through across the net. And we are now tied 22 apiece here in set number 1. Doty to Jensen. She just gets it over. Mustangs come, and a great little touch pass over by Wenzel. And the Mustangs have a lead again, 23-22.
That's a hard play to cover. That's a read play that Serena's got to be able to read, that when the blocker gets pulled in, she probably needs to play short.
23-22. The Mustangs have made a comeback, and again, the taller size out there right now. It's Doty who just sends it over, and it catches the Mustangs off guard. Good play there by Claire Doty.
You know, she is just such a smart setter, and she has so much experience with the game. You know, she's played since she was little. Her parents love volleyball. The whole family does. So she understands those little things that you just can't teach a kid.
Puckett checks back in for the Vermillion Tanagers. Gap knocks it up over to Claire Doty. Great call there by the official as there was another net interference. The third point the Mustangs have given to Vermillion, and Vermillion is now on match point here, 24-23. Quick substitution as Hansen comes out and Allison Ruth, the senior, checks in for the Mustangs. Claire Doty, a chance to win.
I would bet on this, sir.
Doty gets it over, set to Atwood. This one, tip, Jensen. Doty just has to get it over, does so nicely. Atwood there once again. Here comes Pearson, and Pearson, the strong kill. And we're going to see some extra volleyball, 24-24. And now up to serve will be Megan Wenzel, the senior for the Mustangs. Wenzel gets it over. O'Neal there to set to Doty. To Jensen, popped up wrong direction from the back row. The Mustangs able just to get it over. Claire Doty once again to Puckett. She just has to lob it over. Now lob size, of course, with Puckett. Now blocked there, knocked up in the air by Doty. Vermillion gets it back over and sent too far. Great dig there by the Tanagers to get a huge point that they needed.
Yeah, that was a must need. So that dig, that was a good one.
25-24, substitution once again as Hansen is back in and Allison Ruth is out of the game. 25-24, Vermillion trying to win set number 1. It's to Atwood. Pearson just knocks it over. Communication, Vermillion able to set it up nicely, get it over, but goes right to the back row. Here come the Mustangs. This one goes too far. Oh, Kelly Fishbach. I'm supposed to interview her tomorrow during football.
You better ask her about that one.
We might have to ask her about that one.
Yeah, from our view, I don't know about that one. I will say, though, that was Wenzel's first kill of the whole first set. So we've really kept her in check, and I think that's why we're in a close set here.
25-25, what we thought was out. It was called on the line. So we are squared up again, win by 2. And this one gets over to Gap, to Doty, to Jensen. Jensen not really a lot of strength there. Mustangs able to return. Have a play there at the net. Here comes Gap. Gap tries to find that line that she's been able to find earlier. Nothing doing so, and the rally continues. Jensen, and it's a dive, as that time the freshman O'Toole gets in the way of Atwood, who probably would have gotten to it, and Vermillion once again has a chance to win match point.
That is one spot when you have big, tall blockers like Tri-Valley does. If you can get over the top of them, that's usually successful.
26-25, a play at the net. No, the Mustangs dig it up. Here comes the Vermillion Tanagers once again. Vermillion had thought they won the set, and now they're able to do so as O'Toole puts it into the net, and Vermillion wins set number 1, 27-25. How about that? Now 7 straight sets in a row the Tanagers have won.
That is true. That is true.
Well, we'll see if Vermillion can't find themselves another sweep tonight here at Vermillion High School. This is Live Ticket TV, your home for volleyball for the Vermillion Tanagers. We're back in just a moment.
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
We hope you are all enjoying the student productions of your school. Tonight's event and every event produced by your school during the school year are created, filmed, and produced by the students you love to follow and support. Become a booster of your school's live event coverage by becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to show your support of the athletes and students in your community. As a sponsor, you'll get great visibility for your business, organization, or family by supporting the live productions of your school.
Welcome back to Vermillion High School as set number 1 goes to the Vermillion Tanagers as they beat the Tri-Valley Mustangs 27-25. Before we get into set number 2, here is our trivia question of the night. With Queen Elizabeth II dying, who takes over now?
Well, Prince William, right?
I don't know. I skipped that part of the history class. Is it Prince William?
Well,
I just know it was supposed to be Princess Diana.
Remember, I'm a math teacher. History, I could look it up online. I don't know history, but I would guess it'd be him.
The taller one, right?
The dad.
Oh, yeah, the dad. The dad, that's right. That's. See, I thought it was one of the boys at one point.
Oh, it's Charles is his name. You're
Prince
right.
Charles, okay.
There you go, Prince Charles, not William.
So we go back to a king now and not a queen.
Correct.
Oh, boy. Here we go. We're set for set number 2 as it's underway. Not quite for sure what happened with Brooke Jensen there. I think she just thought she was too close to the bench there.
I agree. I think she thought she was going to run into the bleachers, and she just needs to sacrifice the bod.
Yes. Yes. Go after it. Vermillion.
That was not a good pass.
Nope.
Oh.
Oh, they're going to get a net violation?
That was a gift from Tri-Valley.
Wow. So a net violation. Vermillion ends up getting the point, but as you say, not a good pass. 1-1. Well, Coach Zeller, as we saw another comeback for the Vermillion Tanagers in set number 1, at one point found themselves down 15-10, but made that comeback. What are you looking at here in set number 2 to try to control and not have to keep making those comebacks?
Yeah, and this is what's happening. We started out with a couple of not very good, and they're not terrible passes, but those are making Claire work extra hard, and she already runs how many miles to complete a match and set them all up. They need to get the passes at least in her vicinity.
And then going from there, how important with this size to recognize that it's on the court and start getting the girls away from the net.
Yes, and a lot of that comes down to the pass too, because if Claire's having to run far to get to the ball, she doesn't get to pick as clearly where she sets it to.
3-1, as right now the Tri-Valley Mustangs lead it over the Vermillion Tanagers, and again, the height right now out there on the floor for the Mustangs. And just on the third hit, Vermillion able to get it over. Passed once again, trying to get the strong kill there, was Emery Pearson. Now, don't quote me on this. I'm not for sure if they're both sisters, Emery and Ava. The way they both have size and their height, I'd have to guess they are, but they have been key factors tonight for the Mustangs.
I would agree with that. I would say, looking at them, they're sisters.
And they're right at that age gap, too. That would make sense.
There are lots of hints.
Yes. But I will say this much. In my former life as a broadcaster in baseball, one thing I found out when you do Nebraska is never assume they're brothers or sisters, because more than likely they aren't. They're some type of cousin.
So true.
So don't call them brothers on the same football team, because they're probably not. Another point, a lot of miscommunication right now for the Vermillion Tanagers. It's 5-2. The Mustangs lead it early here in set number 2. Yeah, going back to what we were talking about with the Queen there earlier, I got the news headlines about 6 o'clock this morning that she was doing unwell.
Yes, that's about when I got it too.
And then all of a sudden, more information came across, and it was that she had passed away. So,
well, my kids came back from Encore today, which is kind of their extra elective type of class, and that was the first thing. The Queen died. The Queen died.
And whether you're into it or not, or maybe even understand, it's still huge headlines.
Huge.
Especially when the Queen has been around for quite some time and comes just on the heels as we celebrated Princess Diana's birthday just the other day. 6-2, the Mustangs get it over with Pearson once again. This one, the sophomore, Emery, and 7-2. You have to wonder when Coach Nelson goes to her timeouts here.
Yeah.
Up to serve right now is Grand, the junior setter for the Mustangs. And this time she sends it into the net, gives a gift to Vermillion.
Yeah, that could have been a really crucial turning point right there, or I should say a pushing point toward another run. So that gives us a really big break there, missing Brooke.
And that is now the third time that she has done that tonight. She just hasn't found her stride. And now back up to a 5-point lead. And a player that you know so well, it's really hard that when she makes those type of mistakes to get out of her own head. She gets in her own way quite often.
She is her biggest, what's the word I'm
biggest
looking?
enemy.
Yes, she is her biggest enemy. She has all the talent in the world if she can just get out of her own way.
Yep. And you just give that because she's so passionate.
That is exactly why.
Of what she's trying to do. You love that. But yeah, sometimes again, we've just seen 3 mistakes of service errors from her tonight. 9-3, the Tri-Valley Mustangs lead it by 6 here in set number 2, and for Vermillion hasn't really necessarily looked pretty at times, but this time Voss gets a good read and a huge point for Vermillion. Substitution as Puckett will come out and Willett will come in to serve for the Vermillion Tanagers.
Be nice to get a couple good passes here. Oh, that's helpful too.
I'll say we're a few crucial mistakes from the Mustangs. At least some points. This is Vermillion. I mean, of course, not do or die time by any means here in this second set, but would love some huge points. And now another net violation. This time, it's called on the Vermillion Tanagers. See, I saw a little bit more of Tri-Valley. I missed who touched it for Vermillion.
That was by Brooklyn.
So, a gift right back to the Mustangs, 10-5. Speaking of volleyball, I have to bring something else up to you, Coach Zeller. See if you saw it last night.
Oh, the Creighton UNL game? That was exciting. I never miss those things. I watch volleyball all the time.
And this one hits the antenna, point for the Vermillion Tanagers. Now, I know volleyball is huge in Nebraska, but it's just that huge.
It's that huge. It's that huge in Nebraska. And UNL's program that they have built there, John Cook has done a wonderful job. His recruits he gets in are great athletes. They're Olympians. It's just year after year after year. If they're not in the Final Four, it's a letdown.
And I've gotten my chance as well to call championship games for basketball from those facilities. It's just top notch. I mean, you forget that you're in Nebraska. Nothing against Nebraska, because sometimes it doesn't feel that big, but top notch facilities that they have as well.
It is. I was my first Nebraska game ever. I was in the old Coliseum. And I don't know if you've ever been in that building, but we were sitting near the top because we just did, at the door seats. And it was literally straight up. It was like climbing a ladder to get to the top. It was a cool place.
10-9. And going off that, Vermillion trailing by 1 here. Voss gets it over. But what Vermillion and the University of South Dakota and what Coach Amy Williamson is building with her program, it is just... You're going to continue to see those type of crowds start to make their way to Vermillion because of what the volleyball team has done.
Absolutely. And the girls are starting to buy into it. When I first started coaching at Vermillion, the players hadn't gone to a varsity, to a USD match. They didn't know who the players were. Things like that. And, there's another, that was beautiful by Brooklyn.
Great kill.
Yeah, that was great. And her approach there was deceiving. She did all the right things on that one. Yeah. But no, Leanne is doing a fabulous job over there. What she's got going on is really a joy to watch.
And even going off that, big ace from Voss. She's had 2 big plays. But what just the University of South Dakota is building with their sports program has just been amazing to watch. And the facilities make it even better.
Yeah, I work all the home basketball games and the home football games too. And I, as much as we'll miss the basketball coaches from last year, I'm really excited to see what the changes bring this year.
And I'm happy that they're familiar names. And that is the recruiting has always been so greatly done by Mr. Herbster and the rest of his staff to make sure familiar names are always coming back home.
Absolutely. It makes it more enjoyable for us when we feel like we know them.
Yes. Vermillion is now on a 7-1 run. They take a lead 12-11. What has been a lot of mistakes early is now the Mustangs can't get on the same page. And here's that comeback that we talk about once again. And Coach Justin has to use another timeout. What does it take, though, for Vermillion to just change things around?
It seems like such an easy answer, right?
It does.
It seems like such an easy answer. To me, the verbiage I always used with the girls in my day is volleyball's a game of mistakes.
Yeah.
You're not going to play a mistake-free game.
Nope.
You're just not. Even Olympians don't do that.
Yep.
So the key is that you make fewer than they make. So, if you have a mistake, you have to follow it up with a play that's not. And then mistakes you do make, they have to be what we call good mistakes versus bad mistakes. You have to if you're going to make a hitting error, it still has to go over the net and give them a chance to at least stick an arm out and mess it up themselves.
Well, we've seen them make less mistakes here recently and now have a 2-point lead. And another mistake, 14-11. But as we're going off that, we like to see the mistakes not happen so early. It's like a warm-up period.
I was going to say, imagine if we hadn't gotten behind at the beginning, if we started from the beginning.
Yep.
But now, the other thing I would say, the biggest reason here is look what's happened to their passes. Tri-Valley setters setting from behind the 10-foot line. Their hitters are having the ball come over their shoulders versus come at them from the side where they can hit their strong approach. Okay? That pass is crucial.
Vermillion continues this tear, and this one finally goes out, but Vermillion still on a 10-2 streak there, as again, an error from Voss. Vermillion leads it 15-12, but the way Vermillion starts it off reminds me of when I was in high school, I played soccer. The first 5 minutes were always created. Everyone get a touch on the ball, get comfortable with the game, get a feel of how it's going to be. But it wastes your first 5 minutes of the game.
Yes.
There's nothing really going on during that time. So our team was never off to that quick start. And now, just trying to get it over.
And it all started with a not good pass again.
Yep. And going back all the way was at one, basically underneath the basketball hoop that's lifted up in the air right now, trying to get it back into play.
And now you've got Claire Doty who's going to mess with the ball there and serve it at you. So let's see what they do.
16-12. This one, O'Neal digs it out, just goes right back over to Tri-Valley's side. A great block there. Or did it go out?
I think she's saying that they touched it after the block. If that's the case.
Because I looked at the Vermillion reaction, that's when I saw, okay, Tri-Valley got the point.
Yeah, so I would say it's going to come down to whether the Tri-Valley girl touched the ball after the block. Because the ball did land out of bounds.
16-12 right now. And there is a correction made. Point Tri-Valley. Good job there by the officials, even though it doesn't go Vermillion's way. Good job by the officials to get together and make it happen.
Yeah, those are hard calls.
16-13, and now a play right to Jensen at the net. Doesn't have the grace look at it, and Mustangs starting to make a slight bit of a comeback here and seeing if they can't put something together here. By the way, if you're a fan of football, it's officially underway. NFL is back. Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Rams are underway. We'll get the game up here in just a moment for you. How's that sound? 16-15, another point for Tri-Valley.
And did you see where that serve landed? She could serve 100 serves, and I bet she can't hit that spot again. That was a great spot.
So we continue to see the strength of Wenzel, who's up to serve, and another ace she's able to get, and another point, and the Tri-Valley Mustangs have a lead once again. 17-16. Coach Nelson calls the timeout. What's this timeout doing right now for her squad?
Well, the biggest thing, they got to settle down. You know, they have been in the lead for the most part, except for those first few points. But they have to get, I keep harping it, I keep coming back to it. Their pass has to happen. They've got to get that pass up to at least the playable position.
Oh, we might not want that to happen. I might have had Bluetooth connected. We might have just heard a football game. There you go. Everything's pulled up for you.
I have to tell you, I'm excited about the football season. I got Cooper Kupp in my fantasy. I think
you
I'm in good
fantasy?
Of course.
Why am I not playing fantasy with you?
It's the Zeller family fantasy.
Oh, jeez, I got to get it on that. 17-16. The Tri-Valley Mustangs trying to get it over. Vermillion able to answer back with a point, 17-17. And here's your one other interesting fact right now with Live Ticket TV. We actually have a guy that works with our staff, one of our main sales guys actually, is also a producer for Sunday Night Football. So Troy right now is out in LA. He flew out yesterday to be in LA. He flies over to Dallas for Sunday Night Football coming up this Sunday. So Live Ticket TV has some of the big dogs as well with Sunday Night Football.
How do we get those gigs? I just want to ride along.
He enjoys it too, and I talked to him earlier on the phone. I said, are you ready? He goes, actually, we're already set up, ready to go. We're now focusing on Sunday Night Football already. A big kill for the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Another point, they now lead it 19-17 over the Vermillion Tanagers.
It seems so easy, and if I could say one word to Kelsey, she's letting her platform drop too low. When her platform drops low, the ball shoots forward. So she just needs to raise her platform just a tiny bit. That's all that takes.
Service error for the Mustangs, now 19-18, a 1-point lead. And now Jensen up to serve, able to just get it over the net. And a battle at the net, took a deflection off a couple blockers, and this one sent back over by Barnett, not necessarily trying to do so, and this time goes right back at her and uses kind of just both her palms straight out, too low, and a point for the Mustangs.
Yeah, I always told the girls, if somebody has a bad pass that comes at you, hit the ball right back at them because they're not feeling very good about themselves.
20-18, up to serve right now is Wenzel. And this one popped up in the air by Doty. Miscommunication and a big point there for Tri-Valley.
They need to work together here. This is really important. They got to work together. They tend to want to separate from each other, and this is the time they need each other.
21-18 goes to Neal. She just digs it up. Doty at the net, trying to set up gap. And again, this time had her back to it, not making a good enough pass there.
Can I give her a signal? Get your platform up, Kels. Get your platform up. And she is so hard on herself. She is such a competitor.
22-18. And this one goes out. Coach Zeller sees it, getting out. Vermillion gets a big point, and now they need to make a comeback here. Trailing by 3, and the Mustangs 3 away from winning set number 2. Vermillion has set number 1. And it looks like we have our first touchdown of the NFL season as well to the Buffalo Bills. 22-19 back in action here in a close one. And set number 2, a battle at the net, a point that goes to the Mustangs. And Claire Doty wants a little bit more of an explanation there.
You know, Claire's the captain on the floor, and the captain on the floor can go ask the official about that play. I think she should have asked him.
And now Serena Gap ducks out of the way thinking it's going to be out. It stays in. 24-19. And now Coach Amy Nelson wants a timeout. Don't forget to spread the word. Vermillion Tanagers Live is your home for volleyball action. Again, this is where you can watch all the great sporting events as well, including soccer that's coming up this fall. And of course, we'll have you covered for football tomorrow night from inside the Dakota Dome. Make sure you subscribe here to Vermillion Tanagers Live and check us out as well on Live Ticket TV, and download our app today. Favorite the Vermillion Tanagers, and you'll always have the action right there. And of course, Live Ticket TV is always free to use, and it's great to have you along as well for volleyball action. Sorry, Coach. It wasn't Cooper Kupp that scored. Like I said,
know.
It was someone from the Bills.
Are they even a real team, the Bills?
Oh, jeez. 24-19, up to serve are the Mustangs, trying to win here. Controlled, trying to get the strong kill. This one goes too far, though, for Megan Wenzel, out of bounds. And Vermillion need a string put together here by Gap. 24-20. Gap sends it right into the net, and that will be victory for the Mustangs. They win it 25-20, which means we'll see at least 4 sets here tonight. We'll step aside, tied at 1-1 apiece. We're back in just a moment on Live Ticket TV.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Back here at Vermillion High School as we head to set number 3 after Vermillion had won 7 straight sets. That streak comes to an end as Tri-Valley is able to win set number 2, 25-20. We are underway for set number 3. And Coach Zeller, I go back to the opening of set number 2, the poor start, and eventually Vermillion made a comeback. But as we talked about earlier, if they never have to make a 5-point comeback and go basically on an 11-2 run, they would have won that second set.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And so, but once again, you come back to, as you know, they've got to be more confident and more, they need to help each other through that. It wasn't just one person. They have to band together and work through that together.
1-1 as we open up here in the third set. As we promised, guaranteed at 4 as of right now. Claire Doty to Jensen. Jensen too far. She tried to find the line on the far side. 2-1 to the Tri-Valley Mustangs. So you talk about your fantasy. Who's your NFL team then?
The Vikings, of course. I'm from the Midwest, yeah.
Well, I'm not a Vikings fan.
Well, that's your fault.
Wow, I don't need to get the loser sign up here. I have nothing against the Vikings. By any means, I'm just not a Vikings fan. You know what? I'll see you guys not this week, but next week for Monday Night Football. How's that sound?
Who do the Vikings play?
The Philadelphia Eagles. How do I know the Vikings schedule better than you guys do? What are you guys doing up here?
I have Goddard on my fantasy team too. He better do good. Oh, Serena's got a reach on that. Did you see how she hit it right down here by her ear?
Yep.
She's got a reach. Your contact should be a little bit in front of your body, but at an extended arm pace.
4-1. The Mustangs open up with a cushion of a lead once again. Gap this time sends it into O'Toole there at the net. Sent back over, but just sending it into the net is Madeline Wenzel, the sophomore. And a point for the Vermillion Tanagers, 4-2. All right, Minnesota Vikings, I can handle that.
There you go.
I have nothing against the Vikings.
Yeah.
Unless they're playing the Eagles in week 2, then I have a problem with it. Vermillion, after Tri-Valley was able to dig it out of the net in a violation.
That's a foot fault. So what that means is, because you can step on that center line, but you cannot have your foot go completely over. So if you're stepping on it and you raise your heel, now it's a violation.
Gotcha.
As long as you continue contact with it, it's legal.
5-2, a 3-point lead for the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Once again, a play at the net. The Tanagers are able just to get over. Doty to O'Neill to Gap. Gap had to fade back just to hit that. Here come the Mustangs once again, and a strong kill that goes into the stands. Mustangs, that was Bicknace who came up with the kill.
Yeah, but they haven't hit a ball down the line. Maybe they should adjust that block and bring it in a little bit, make them hit down the line.
And Gap this time up defensively. Gets beyond her again, maybe think it's going to go out of bounds. Paints the bottom corner there. 7-2. The Mustangs, just as they did in set number 2, get off to a great start.
We haven't had a pass, go to that setting area yet in this set.
And now a service error. We'll see a substitution as Emma will be back in. Sack for the Buffalo Bills, by the way, on 2nd down and 5. And this one, Emma sends just too far. Back-to-back service errors. When Tanagers get a free point, you can't give them something right back.
Yeah, you got to capitalize on those ones when you get them.
8-3. O'Neill.
There's a good pass.
Doty to Voss.
That was pretty.
Oh, that is too pretty. Just the way she's able to get up. I don't know, you think she could touch the rim in basketball? Not dunk it by any means, I'm just saying touch the rim.
Probably. Yeah, she has some good ups. She doesn't always use them to their fullest. She tends to kind of glide through it a little bit more. You know, if she could get that plant to plant solid and go straight up from there, that would be unstoppable.
Back-to-back service errors for the Vermillion Tanagers. It keeps it at that 5-point lead, 9-4. And now a battle at the net won by the Mustangs. Just the size of Megan Wenzel over Claire Doty, up to a 6-point lead for Tri-Valley. O'Neal fading back. Doty has to run a long way. Miscommunication. Amy Nelson needs to use a timeout here.
I would agree with that. Kelsey's it's her look. She's not having any confidence in herself. And you know, if you remember back to Lennox, the Lennox match, Kelsey didn't play.
Yep.
And their whole mood, they didn't have that leader on the floor. They didn't have that person to kind of pull them through. And right now, Kelsey's not doing that for her team. So she needs to just get over it, move forward. You can't fix that last one. Do better on the next one.
11-5, 6-point lead, and now a mistake here as we talk about the great hitting of Ava Pearson. That time you saw her defense. She didn't know quite how to dig that one out of the net there.
Yeah, I don't think she's seen a lot of time in the back row.
11-6. Vermillion still trails by 5. A hit over that messes with the net, but eventually does find its way over for the Mustangs. And now right there at the block, the rally continues as it was Wenzel going up against Jensen, and a tip at the block goes out of bounds, and a point for the Mustangs.
Boy, you know, the breaks are just going their way right now, but I still think a lot of that is because of their almost like feel sorry for me, feel sad for me, things aren't going. That's a mood, that's a feeling on the floor, so they've got to fix that themselves.
And now miscommunication as Ani jumps right in the way of Gap trying to dig it up there. 13-6. This is the biggest lead that the Mustangs have ever had in any of the 3 sets so far tonight. And again, it is a 1-1 here on the sets. Vermillion won the first one 27-25. Tri-Valley won the second one 25-20. Wenzel just gets it over. Doty to Jensen.
Oh, that was net.
And she just puts it right between the blockers, and then a net violation was called again. And another point for Vermillion.
This would be a great time to have a little run go on here, okay? You know your server's going to get the ball in, so they need to play clean volleyball. Good passes.
Claire Doty up to serve. Gets it over Atwood Librero there first, and just a strong kill once again from Ava Pearson for the Mustangs.
She's a solid player.
She is. 14-7. Doty to Jensen eventually as Ani was in on there on the play, and the Mustangs, though, come up with the point. No, it was the Vermillion Tanagers.
Yeah, that was a nice tip by Brooke there. You know, I would say that's a fairly new. She's a good mover around to the ball, but that movement on that tip was a new one for her, and that was good.
14-18. Trying to get the big kill there. The Mustangs not able to do so with Pearson. Emery this time. But the rally continues. Here comes Ava. Goes right to Claire to Jensen. Puckett just gets it over. A little bit of miscommunication for the Mustangs. Emery once again. Can't get the kill. Jensen just sets it over. Lob up, and Jensen got a great look. Now, I have a question for you. With the way that Jensen just hit that, it flies into the back row. It's the same way with mechanics in soccer. The more you lean back to when you kick a ball, it goes higher in the air. And people don't necessarily realize that. They say when it goes really high, stop leaning back. Is that the same way here in volleyball?
Exactly the same. Your contact point is in front of your body, and you got to get it there so you can pull it down. If you catch it behind you, you can't pull the ball to the floor. It has to go up before it comes down.
15-8. And now a strong kill once again from the Pearsons. This one, Emery, an 8-point lead. It looks like set number 3 is going to go to the Mustangs.
It is. At this point right here, I would say the key is to try and swing some of that momentum back to your team. You know, Brooke Jensen could do that in 2 plays if she gets 2 shutdowns on blocks. We could do that in a couple of plays with a couple of good serves, a good dig off of a good hit. But they've got to do it together. It's going to take a team effort.
19-6. After one that went into the net for the Mustangs, Jensen is up. She needs to just put something together herself, as she's had some mistakes here so far in the first 2 sets. And rushing up there, miscommunication. Puckett gets to it late and gives the point to the Mustangs.
Yeah, and that was that's a playable set. Is it a great set? No, but it's a playable set. And Shaylin's a senior. She can get that ball over the net.
17-9. Madeline up to serve for the Tri-Valley Mustangs. Puckett gets it over. Here comes Vermillion with O'Toole, who is looking great at the C and JV level, is certainly hindered by her size right now as a freshman, but certainly has a lot of skill.
Yeah, and if you notice, she caught that ball behind her head, did the same thing that happened to us on Brooks' last play.
17-10, another service error.
This is killing me. Wow, this is hard to watch up here. I don't remember it being this hard down on the floor.
18-10. Tanagers trail by 8, and of course Coach Seller still has that piece of her that wants to get out there. Now, we have noticed that Coach Nelson hasn't gone to a timeout. Would you have done so a long time ago?
Yeah, I tend to be use them up, no sense of saving them.
18-11, whereas Coach Nelson's on the opposite side.
She
Just
is.
let this play out. I don't know if it's try to fix it yourself or what the kind of idea thinking is all behind it necessarily. We'll see if we can't find out during our postgame.
There you go.
18-11, a block that goes out of bounds, and Vermillion gives another point to the Mustangs, now leading it 19-11.
See, that's a play right there. Yes, the block went out of bounds, okay? But are Ani and Brooklyn self-evaluating that? Why did the ball go out of bounds there? That's a simple turn in of a hand so that they can fix that the next time and be successful there.
8-point lead for the Mustangs. A little bit of a slip there this time, and you can see Ani immediately is saying, I need a towel. She didn't get her quite feeding correctly down. She slipped, sent it into the net, gets that towel. 20-11. Mustangs, as we mentioned, are going to take set number 3. No doubt about this.
It does appear so. They don't even look like.
The confidence is gone.
The confidence, the effort, the drive, the communication.
Yes. And this is, you just got to reset now for set number 4.
Like I said, yeah, they gotta get some of that motivation back. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought she was hurt. That makes me nervous.
Nonetheless, a violation that gives a point to the Vermillion Tanagers. But yeah, you watch. Now, I can't remember. Was it Bonholm that had one of their star players? Was it in the Vermillion game or before the Vermillion game go down with a torn ACL? So.
It must have been before.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed the first couple of points because I was talking to my grandson on the phone. So unless it was in the first couple of points, it must have been before.
Because I know they were missing one of their key players on Tuesday night. Yeah, because
gives you a little insight, yeah.
The Cavaliers, I knew, were supposed to be a decent team, and they have certainly fallen on some tough times with missing a key player, and ACL injury as well, one of the main factors in volleyball.
Yeah, that's a tough injury. You know, that's what happened with Hannah Christofferson, who played right side for me last year. Her last softball game of the year, she tore not just her ACL, she tore everything, and she's got, it sounded to me like when I talked to her tonight, it's a 10-month recovery.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's a senior. You hate to see that happen.
As we mentioned, the mojo is certainly gone out of the building for the Vermillion Tanagers here in set number 3, as this is now match point for the Tri-Valley Mustangs. 24-12. Up to serve is Hansen. Gets it over to Gap. Jensen knocks it over. Hansen to Wenzel. Tip by the block, goes off to the left. Point for the Mustangs, and they get set number 3, winning it in big fashion, 25-12. Coach Zeller, you got 3 minutes. What's your opening words to your crew as you head into the 4th set?
The slate's clean. That one's done. There's not a thing you can do about it. You have to play the next point. You have to play the next set, okay? Start from scratch. Get that feeling back. Want to be a winner, want to be a leader, and make something happen for your team.
We'll see if they can't do that, as now Tri-Valley leads it 2-1 as we head to the 4th set. That's coming up here in just a moment on Live Ticket TV.
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
We hope you are all enjoying the student productions of your school. Tonight's event and every event produced by your school during the school year are created, filmed, and produced by the students you love to follow and support. Become a booster of your school's live event coverage by becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to show your support of the athletes and students in your community. As a sponsor, you'll get great visibility for your business, organization, or family by supporting the live productions of your school.
In SoFi Stadium at the end of quarter number 1, it's the Buffalo Bills that lead it over the Los Angeles Rams 7-0. So right now there's a commercial on for Pinocchio. Gosh,
What?
Tom Hanks looks super old in that. I know he's supposed to, but jeepers creepers. Set number 4 is underway back here at Vermillion High School, as the Tri-Valley Mustangs have won set number 2 and set number 3 convincingly. Right now, set number 4 is all about the Vermillion Tanagers getting off to the right start. Okay, maybe they don't get first point here, but just get off to the right start.
Exactly. They started off with a decent pass. It wasn't great, but it was decent. It was hittable. You know, and that play, that's a hard one. You know, that's one of those that if you get it, you're lucky. So we just need a couple things, couple breaks. Need a couple breaks.
Play at the net that comes back to the Tanagers, able to dig it out. 1-0. Again, Mustangs lead it over Tri-Valley. Or excuse me, Mustangs lead over Vermillion 2-0 here in set number 4.
Once again, I'm going to go back to that block. I would move that block in towards the center of the floor a little bit. Have Claire line right up with that hitter, and then Brooke can block the cross court. She hasn't even attempted to hit a line tonight.
Jensen sends it right into the size of Tri-Valley right now. We're bringing Wenzel and Pearson. Pearson gets another piece of it. Doty sends it to the back row. As you mentioned, yeah, great play there by Doty just to finally get it over the blockers and make the back row work for it.
Yeah, and that's one of those she knows the game kind of plays. Claire knows all that play at the net, everybody's moving closer to it. She's got to push it deep where no one's at.
Pearson sends it to Gap. It comes off the right hand and into the Vermillion crowd. 3-1. Now leading are the Tri-Valley Mustangs. And now an ace as this one goes to Doty. Hit off of her left forearm there.
Yeah, you know, Claire is a great passer. She's a great volleyball player, but she doesn't practice serve receive. So for her to step in there and try it, they're just trying to shake things up a little bit. I get that.
4-1 as Vermillion Tanagers, as mentioned, trying to get something going here in set number 4.
Somebody's got to hit the ball.
And finally, able to get a point off of 4 hits. Don't forget as well, coming up, they had it tonight, but coming up tomorrow as well at the Vermillion football game tomorrow, the Vermillion Boosters are selling their raffle tickets. There's several different things that are up for grabs, including reserved front row parking for sporting events including volleyball, wrestling, basketball, and gymnastics. So everything that happens here at the gym. Awesome big red cooler is what they're saying. A set of 4 metal coasters with Tanager logos and 2 Tanager tumblers, 2 soft stadium seats, and a gray Tanager blanket as well. This is all being raffled off by the Vermillion Boosters. It is a ticket for $10 or 3 for $25. The winner will be announced during the halftime game of the homecoming football game that's coming up on the 23rd.
Correct.
But the Boosters are going to be selling raffle tickets once again tomorrow at the football game.
Yeah, everybody's starting to get geared up for that homecoming week. Everybody, gets everybody excited, ready to go. Theme for homecoming this year is Verm's Got Game. Verm's Got Game. So based off of board games, card games, I'm the student council rep at the middle school, and we've got a pretty good one this year. So
I'm glad you're here to tell me that. Because I'm going to be honest with you, when we said Verm's Got Game, I was like, cool, what does that mean though? So board games.
Yes.
Board games, nothing with video games.
Well, I mean, it's a game. If you can make the video game work, I think that's all right.
Oh. 6-4. Service error by the Vermillion Tanagers now makes it 7-4. The Tri-Valley Mustangs get a point back. I guess I can't complain too much. I don't even remember my homecoming themes.
Right.
I'm trying to think.
We're pretty excited because Mrs. Job and I do student council together.
Okay.
And we're going to actually do a float. In the past, we've had the kids in the parade, but this year we're going to do the whole shebang. We're going to float it up.
And let's go off this then. If anyone of the public wants to be in the float, how do we, or not the float, the parade.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Letty Bilberg, a teacher over here at the high school,
Yep.
and Cammie Dibley are in charge of the homecoming. So all you have to do is contact them. There's an online Google form. Fill the form out, and you can get yourself a float in the parade.
Vermillion trails by 2. Big kill by Voss with that speed once again. They're within 1. Cole Larsh, mark that on your calendar. Make sure we have our parade float together, all right?
Do something cool.
What are you doing over there? Is it because the football game's not turning your direction? I think he's mad I have the game turned my direction right now. 7-6. You got to get a float put together. Oh, he's got the game pulled up by him too.
Yeah.
Vermillion gets another point here. They're now on a 4-0 run. 7-7. This is key here in this fourth set.
This is key. To me, Brooklyn's play where she slammed the ball down could be one to change the momentum of the game. They just need, look, there's a beautiful pass by Kelsey. So, that's not what we needed.
A hit by Barnett that goes into the net.
And she is misreliable. She doesn't usually make mistakes like that, so.
8-7. The Mustangs back up by 1 here in the fourth set. Again, Tri-Valley leads it 2-1 on set plays so far. Here come the Mustangs trying to get a big kill. Popped up high in the air. Gap gets out of the way to Barnett. Sends it right into the size of Ava Pearson. And a big block there.
Even if they were covering, they're not doing a very good job of covering. But even if they were, I don't know if they could get those up. She's just blocking that straight down.
She is. And again, that's just right now that lineup, that front row.
That size is causing us problems, yes.
10-7. Now a 3-0 run by the Mustangs. And Doty is at least playing her teammates away from the net right now with the size as well. So good marking by her. Pearson on the third hit just has to get it over to Doty. And once again, Voss knows the situation. I like what she tried to do there.
I do too. I like that process, that game. She's thinking there that, they're taking care of us at the net. Let's try and move their defense back a little further.
11-8 as the service error comes in. Again, don't forget to join us tomorrow at 5 o'clock for a pregame for football. Cole, make sure you mark that on your calendar. He's giving that look right now.
Like he was surprised.
What?
It's like my kids will do tomorrow when they walk into my room. It's test day.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so all you 6th graders, you better get out your math and be some studying here tonight. You know how many kids will walk into my room tomorrow and say, "We're having a test"?
I wouldn't show up.
You probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't show up. Math and I did not get along when I was in school.
It's because you didn't have me to make it fun.
I don't know how you make it fun, but
you can, I promise.
maybe I should go back to school and relearn some math. But nowadays, the calculator just does it all for me.
Do not visit my classroom.
13-8. The Mustangs now back up by 5. Gap Barnett gets it over with a pass from Doty there. Mustangs trying to go on a little bit of a run their own. Doty trying to get it across. Jensen didn't get the strongest of hits. Mustangs just have to get it over once again. Battle at the net.
That was not a good hit.
Not enough.
By Tri-Valley. But they follow it up with another block. Now remember earlier I said 14 blocks in a match. That is, I would be interested to see how many Tri-Valleys had tonight.
And it just comes with that size as well.
I think so, and the fact that our passing in the last 2 sets has really gone awry, which then your hitters are kind of at the mercy, and they just gotta throw it up there, and these blockers are eating us alive.
They're eating us alive and getting the kills as well.
Absolutely.
And we've talked so much about momentum for the Vermillion girls here in the past 2 games with getting sweeps. The whole entire attitude has changed now. Once again, you can see miscommunication. Everyone's no smiles on the faces. They're panicked at this moment.
Absolutely, they are. This is where you'd like to see, Claire, because Claire can get through those. It's just her personality. She doesn't have that strong personality to pull someone along with her. She wants to terribly, but it's hard for her. So you'd love to have her do that.
15-19 this time. It's just the sheer power of Pearson that sends it into the blockers, takes a deflection, and goes out of bounds. Another point for the Mustangs. They're now under double digits to win it here tonight in
Good
Vermillion.
pass.
Mustangs have it, their side, trying to get it over this time. Great block there as Puckett and Jensen in there on the block to get the point for the Tanagers.
Yeah, we got Bailey Baylor in the game here tonight. So good job, Bailey, getting some time on the floor.
And she is up to serve right now. She gets it over. Great Baylor family as well, what they've been able to do with some athletes here over the past few years. Mentioned Bailey and, of course, her brother Roz right now, great football player. What's the final score tomorrow?
I think it's going to be a close one.
Okay.
Okay. Of course I'm going to go Vermillion. Are we going to score a lot, Seibel? Let's go 24-21.
24-21.
Yes.
All right. Coach Zeller saying the Tanagers are going to win. Of course, there's a lot of question marks as well on who is going to be the starting quarterback tomorrow for the Vermillion Tanagers. I will say this much. I do know the answer. No, I will not be sharing it at this time. You're going to have to tune into the pregame show, and there is when you'll discover who the starting quarterback will be. But, of course, we've missed Ty Hertz the past few games. Sean Doan came in as the starting quarterback, was replaced by Hayden Christopherson, the freshman quarterback. He was dynamite.
I heard. I did not see the game because I was with my family, but I heard he did a great job.
You never would have known he was a freshman the way he was playing out there.
Yeah, if you know Hayden, though, that doesn't surprise me.
And I know the family a little bit, and they are another great pedigree of athletes, a part of that family as well.
Yeah. You know, I talked earlier about Hannah, who has the
Yep.
knee injury, and that is
Yep.
Hayden and Hannah are brother sister.
Yep.
Yeah.
17-12, Vermillion trails by 5 here in set number 4, and now a big ace for Jensen. Let's see if they can't build on this right here.
See a couple of smiles back on their faces, okay? Just slowly building a little bit more back here.
And knowing they have to get this set. And wow, miscommunication between Hanson and Atwood. Another big point, another ace for the Vermillion Tanagers and Jensen. And a timeout is called. Vermillion trails by 3, 17-14 here in set number 4. We're back in just a moment on Live Ticket TV.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
17-14 as we resume here in set number 4. Quick score update. Elk Point Jefferson beat Canton in set number 1, 25-18. But right now, Canton off to a quick start, leading it 6-1 in set number 2. That's just a look at scores, more specifically closer to the area. Wow. Chester area beat Parker 25-3 in the first set.
Are you kidding me? You know, Parker had a huge senior class. The Barons girl was a phenomenal athlete for them, but that's not very often heard of, 25-3.
Del Rapids has beaten T area in 2 sets now, 25-7, 25-21.
That one doesn't surprise me. They are my upset team of the year.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. You really are high on Del Rapids and what they have this season. Back here, it's 18-15. Block at the net. Nope.
Come on, Mike. He needs to give him some slack on that one. That was a good play. It's probably a lift, but...
Coach Zeller getting after Mr. King up there, the head official. 19-15. Of course, Mr. King, official here quite often since he's right here in the area.
I tried to get him. I booked the officials for the Dakota 12 conference tourneys and classics and stuff, and I need a ref for the volleyball tournament, and so I was trying to get him to commit, but he said, my son plays football on Saturdays.
Yeah, that's right. You're not going to get them away from Northwestern football.
No, dang it.
Big kill there for the Vermillion Tanagers.
That was nice.
20-16. And both of his boys are playing up for Northwestern football, correct?
I think the older one has graduated.
Has he graduated by now? Okay, so I couldn't remember if he was a senior or if he had graduated.
Yeah.
And this one, a play that goes just out of bounds for the Vermillion Tanagers, 21-16, a 5-point lead for the Mustangs, and they bring back in that size once again as Ava Pearson checks back in.
Okay, so we're going to have to adjust. Pull those sets off a little bit. Oh.
Now this is something I never thought I would see. Gary Culver drinking a Red Bull at 8:07 in the evening.
He's never going to go to sleep.
Culver, I know you do a lot of traveling for football, but that's the reason why you can't get sleep at night. Drinking Red Bull at 8 o'clock at night. Another point here for the Tri-Valley Mustangs, 22-17. Are we going to see a substitution? I didn't know if Coach Nelson there called a timeout or not. Quick substitution as Puckett will check back in.
So Heath, I have to say something. I've been thinking about it since you asked the trivia question about Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I have a very dear friend who passed away this week from the nasty C word. It was a horrible, icky thing, and it was fast.
Sure.
But I'm wondering, do you think she's sitting up there, she was there to meet Queen Elizabeth? She's a devout Catholic. That's all I can think is Elva's up there talking to Queen Elizabeth.
I would say so. I would say so. Never a good time to die, but at least you're in good company up there.
The same week as Queen Elizabeth.
22-18. It's a 4-point lead for the Tri-Valley Mustangs as they try to finish it off. The sophomore Madeline Wenzel just sends it into the net. Vermillion draws it within 3, but Claire Doty needs to keep things going here right now for the Vermillion Tanagers. And it gets a big ace as she targets the sophomore Madeline. Want to go right back to that again.
Absolutely. That's what I do too. In fact, you know, that was a game plan often. If there was a player that led them in so many statistics, make them pass the ball, because if you make them pass the ball, they're going to have errors, and you can hopefully take them out of the rest of that game.
And it's funny, Tri-Valley did just replace Madeline and got the senior Allison Ruth, but able to still get an ace is Claire Doty. Timeout called to try to take now Doty out of her rhythm here. 22-21. As again, it was a timeout from head coach Justin for the Mustangs, trying not to let this fourth set slip away.
Yes. So come back from a timeout. The coach's goal is to mess us up. So Claire, of course, is going to make her serve. The key is we need a block or a good pass when it comes back over.
22-21. By the way, it's 10-0. The Buffalo Bills lead at 8:04 remaining in the first half over the Rams. I thought you were a Vikings fan.
Well, I am, but Cooper's on my team. So is he at least getting some catches?
I've heard he's caught a couple passes.
How about some more, like for touchdowns? I'm playing my son-in-law, and it's painful when he wins.
22-21. Claire Doty up to serve. Trying to tie it up for the Tanagers as Madeline was back in and then went right after. A great job there by Doty. Speaking of Madeline, she finds the gap in the defense of the Tanagers. Big point for the Mustangs.
That's a hard spot to cover. Ani read it well, just didn't get there quite in time.
23-21. Ani sets it to Jensen. It's blocked, though, by the big size of Pearson. And Pearson sends it back into the net. Vermillion within 1.
You know, I don't know if I know she hasn't had many errors, if any errors tonight, but we'll take one at that point right there.
Again, set number 4 with Tri-Valley leading it in sets, and right now leading it on the scoreboard. No, I'm sorry. Woo! Correction, Vermillion gets the point.
They called her in the net.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big call there. Vermillion has now tied it up at 23-23 with Ani Barnett up to serve. Miscommunication by the Mustangs, but here comes Tri-Valley. Jensen just sends it over, and it works perfectly. Tri-Valley wants to carry. They don't get it, and Vermillion is within a point to send it to a 5th and decisive set here.
I do have to, I'm going to side with Justin on that one. I don't know that that's a good hit. I mean, I'm glad we got the point for it, but if the other team did it, I'd have crabbed.
24-23. Tri-Valley won a net violation from Jensen. Don't get the call. Vermillion gets the point, and we go to a 5th and decisive set as Vermillion wins set number 4, 25-23. Coach Zeller, what does it come down to with the way we have seen Vermillion get off to a start? We only go to 15 points.
They can't start like that in this one. You know, and it'll be interesting to see if the coaches, I like to sometimes not change the lineup, but rotate a couple of spots or something. But they start with their, probably their best hitters in the front row there. So it'd just be interesting to see if the coaches leave it the same or if they're gonna rotate a couple spots, how they're gonna do it. And of course, a lot of it comes down to who got the serve there.
We're going to take a quick step aside, and when we come back, it's the 5th and decisive set here in Vermillion between Tri-Valley and Vermillion. That's on the way next on Live Ticket TV.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
It's time for the 5th and decisive set between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Tri-Valley Mustangs. As Vermillion took set number 1, 27-25, Tri-Valley took sets number 2 and 3, 25-20, 25-12, and Vermillion makes another comeback in set number 4 to win it 25-23. We're going to 15 here in set number 5. Of course, win by 2. Vermillion takes the opening point. They lead it 1-0. Claire Doty sets it up to Jensen. Jensen get over. Mustangs return. Here they come, trying to find the gap, and does so nicely all night. Megan Wenzel, the senior, just a heads-up player on what she's been able to do.
It's funny you said find the gap because that was Serena Gap playing the position there.
No pun intended. 1-1. Speaking of gap, it goes to her, to Doty. Jensen just has to get it over the back
spot.
corner, but the Mustangs able to return it. Vermillion digs it up, and they get it right back over. Here come the Mustangs. O'Neill, Doty, Ani Barnett sends it back row. Mustangs try to rally. A block. Ani should just let that one go, and a point for Tri-Valley.
She got a nice touch on it, but you're right. She was a little far off, made it just go out of bounds.
2-1 now. Vermillion trails to the Mustangs. Big kill, though, from Jensen as she finds it right down the line.
Do you remember how successful that was in set 1?
Yep.
That was, and we've gone completely away from it.
I would say we have not seen that same from Vermillion, as you mentioned, since set number 1. 2-2 here in the 5th and decisive set. Doty O'Neill setting up for gap. She was leaning backwards.
Right between them. Literally right between the two players' arms.
And she got extremely lucky there because she was fading back, but able to get a big point there for the Vermillion Tanagers. And now, Ani Barnett, she has struggled tonight.
You know, overall, yeah, she's done some really nice things. But for what she normally does, I agree with you. Yes. Now, here's the thing, though. I don't know if you realize, Ani is double dipping, you may call. She's also playing tennis. So she goes to tennis practice and then comes to volleyball after. So Ani played a tennis tournament. There was a tennis match at home today.
Wow.
Ani played that tennis match at home today and then comes here and plays volleyball when she's done. So, you know, she's probably a little spent.
And the way you just say that, and I'm looking at her face more and more, and you can absolutely see she is a lot more exhausted than anybody else. And of course, as we know, tennis, that is absolutely just running everywhere.
And obviously she's good at tennis. Her dad is the tennis coach for USD. So both she and her little sister Mia will do that. They'll both play tennis and volleyball. Carrie Jensen's the tennis coach here, and she does a really nice job of working with us so that we can make that work. Ani loves volleyball. I mean, she loves it.
And as we mentioned earlier, she's reliable. So another one found down the line for the Vermillion Tanagers. They take back their lead here in this 5th set. It's now 5-4. With Puckett up to serve, and this one goes just a little too far, and this one goes out of bounds. 5-5 now between Vermillion and Tri-Valley in set number 5. Substitution wasn't quite made completely. Now, who's this near official we have?
Oh, darn, you're going to ask me her name. I think it's Deb. But she has been a long time teacher and coach for Beersford High School. And she retired at the end of the year last year. So has taken on the blue jersey.
She's doing a fantastic job here tonight. A ball goes out of bounds, and Vermillion gets another point. And another point as this one goes out of bounds. And Cooper Kupp scored a touchdown.
Yes!
Oh, gets both feet down just in time as well. 7-5.
Oh,
Vermillion
great serve.
leads it back in volleyball action. And touching in the net, another point for Vermillion, and now a timeout for Tri-Valley.
Isn't it just crazy the momentum swings in volleyball?
It is.
Look at their players now. They have that same look that we had for a set and a half.
Yep.
Their shoulders are hunched, no smiles in the huddle. They're standing far apart from each other, and our kids are right back here together. You see some smiles in the huddle. Yeah.
8-5. Vermillion leads it here in this decisive set 5. We go to 15. As I mentioned, Kupp gets a touchdown, so everyone can be happy now. Gets his toes both in just in time. 10-7, by the way, for Thursday night football. As the NFL is back, a 3-point lead for the Buffalo Bills. We'll have you covered for high school football tomorrow night right here on Live Ticket TV for Vermillion and Milbank. A big kill there for the Mustangs, and they draw it within 2. And we're going to see the size of Ava Pearson come back in for the Mustangs as well.
Yeah, they've got to like this lineup coming through the front row at this time right now because they've had a lot of success with this lineup.
8-6. Up to serve is Steiben for the Mustangs. O'Neal just had to try and dig it out. Went to Doty. She just tried to knock it over. And there again, the size right there to send it right back on the Vermillion side.
Look at Claire there being vocal. So that's so good. I'm so happy to see her doing that.
8-7. 1-point lead for Vermillion. Hits off the ceiling here. Comes back down. Vermillion able to get it over. And we're still in action. O'Neal, Doty to Voss. Just sets it up back to Atwood in the back row. Here come the Mustangs the opposite way.
She tooled the block, as that's called, Heath.
I didn't even know. It kind of looked like it was almost hit the net.
But she purposely hit it at Claire's hands there, made it roll off of Claire's hands and go outside.
And this time, Claire tries to get fancy by setting it back. Not able to do so as the Mustangs read it perfectly. 9-8, a 4-0 run by Tri-Valley, and they now lead it by 1 here in the 5th set. Doty just has to get it over after a bad pass for Vermillion. Pearson to Gap, and Gap sends it to the student section. 10-8, and now a timeout called by head coach Amy Nelson after the timeout called by Tri-Valley seemed to work nicely. This is a big moment here for New Year head coach Amy Nelson. to try to get her troops settled. Vermillion, by the way, has never played more than 4 sets or even 3 sets of volleyball. In fact, so far this season, before tonight, they had either won by all straight sets or had been swept by all straight sets. So this is the first time that Amy Nelson has ever faced a 5th set.
Yeah, gone an extended time here. Look at you and all your statistics and data.
I will have to say, someone brought that up to me.
Yeah, you know that's all math.
But the numbers were written down in front of me.
It's still math, it's numbers.
The answer was just there for me. A big block by the Mustangs. Ani Barnett able to get it over the blockers this time and get a huge point for Vermillion. 10-9. We go to 15. Both coaches still have a timeout remaining. Voss up to serve.
Thank gosh she played that ball. I think it was out.
Voss, Doty, Jensen. Mustangs with Atwood, bad pass to Pearson. Hits it off the side of the pole, and we're tied 10-10. The timeout worked for head coach Amy Nelson.
It did work. Got to keep those serves in.
10-10. They are targeting right now the sophomore Madeline Wenzel. Battle at the net. It's on the Vermillion side. Barnett sends it over for Vermillion. Mustangs set, trying to get a big kill, and this one gets the bottom corner. A big kill there for Tri-Valley.
Yeah, that was a really nice hit. That was number 8, that Bickness. Is that how you say that?
Yep.
Okay, that was a nice hit by her, aiming right at the line, getting it right close to there, that cross court.
11-10. Mustangs now lead it by 1. Getting it over. Doty sets it up for Jensen, trying to get in the back corner. Popped up in the air, miscommunication. But the Mustangs able to finally get it over. Barnett out to Atwood. At the net, here comes Wenzel.
Good pass.
Tanagers. Barnett had to go into the net, but able to get it over nicely. We're tied 11-11.
There's that line play again. It's working. The thing is you can't hit every ball to the line. The set has to be in just the right place. But boy, if Claire can get it to him there, it's still wide open.
11-11.
That's a great
and
serve.
A big ace as well for the Vermillion Tanagers. Now 12-11. Coach Justin is going to use his last timeout. Good call here for the Mustangs?
I think so. When especially, we're this close to the end of it, you can't let them get ahead by very much further. And we're on a 3-point run?
Yep.
So I think that's a great time to call that timeout.
12-11, and you talk about a game of momentum. All smiles have returned back to Vermillion again. Vermillion trying to finish this one off, trying to win 3 in a row. It all dates back to a week ago on Thursday. Up to serve is Claire Doty. Doty gets it over. Atwood Libero was the one to get it first for the Mustangs. Tri-Valley gets it over. Here comes Jensen. I think she tried to get a little too cute with that.
She did. I was glad to see her swing at it, though, because, it's been a while since she's swung at one. She's been getting the ball and keeping it alive, but I think she needs to take some swings.
12-12 now. Up to serve is Megan Wenzel. Barnett, Jensen, this time sends it to the back row. Pearson, straight at Claire Doty. Barnett gets it over for the Tanagers. Rally continues. Pearson has a good look at it once again. To Doty. And this one blocked by Pearson. But Vermillion is able to send it right back over with Gap. What a great play by Gap there.
Yeah, and that's Serena covered perfectly. You teach the girls to cup that block. Cup that block and play it. I'm betting she didn't mean to send it over, but you know what? It worked, didn't it?
And now a huge ace for the Vermillion Tanagers, and the exhausted Barnett comes up with the ace, and now a chance to win it for the Vermillion Tanagers in set number 5. Barnett, as the crowd goes silent, sends it over. Pearson. O'Neal pops it up in the air, and O'Neal rushes in, gets it over. But a net violation as she tried to cover the spot, jumps all the way across, and will give the point to the Mustangs.
Look at that effort, though.
Yep.
You got to applaud her. She's one you want on your team. If you're picking, you want to pick Kelsey.
Vermillion still had a chance to win it here. Grand to serve. O'Neal to Doty to Gap. Hits off one of the blockers, stays alive. Tri-Valley just has to get it over. Doty back to Gap. Played in the middle for the Mustangs. Here they come back the opposite way. O'Neal to Doty, who slipped a little. Back the opposite way. Cross-court kill. Vermillion in set number 5 gets the victory. 15-13, 3-game winning streak. The Vermillion Tanagers get it done here in Vermillion.
That was a roller coaster ride.
You look back at the 3rd set.
We looked like we were in the gutter in the parking lot.
You look at the beginning of the 4th set.
We were still in the gutter.
We were still in the parking lot. And all of a sudden, things came alive. And this team is really starting to grow. We talked about it last Thursday. Was it the turning point against South Sioux City? Certainly a lot of momentum will need to be built. You're going to have a lot of tough competition with Sioux Falls Christian coming up. There's kind of some slogans that go around about the Lady Chargers. I mean, nothing bad. They just...
No, gosh, no.
They're a good team.
They're a great program.
So it's going to be hard because a loss is going to be, a huge upset. It'd be one of the biggest upsets of this season.
Of the decade.
But the way Vermillion has built themselves right now, the way things have been going, you have to love what you've been seeing.
Yes, I'm proud of the girls. I obviously want nothing but success and happiness, and I want them to have fun, and it just really makes me happy to see them doing that.
And continue, like I said, hope to see that throughout the rest of this season. Should be exciting. Coach Zeller, as always, we appreciate your time. Do it again soon.
We will.
All right.
All right.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Heath.
Hey, have a wonderful night. Go watch Cooper Kupp score some more touchdowns.
I got to go home and cheer loud.
There we go. Coach Zeller joins us here for volleyball as, again, Vermillion wins the 5th set, 15-13. 3-2 overall. We're going to step aside, and we have our post-game show coming up next. That's on the way here on Live Ticket TV.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
Well, the excitement certainly built in set number 1 for what was set to be a great night of volleyball. It lived up to that hype, but at times it didn't always look oh so pretty, as Vermillion gets the win tonight in 5 sets, the first time this season that they have played more than just a sweep. Otherwise, they have been swept or they've been doing the sweeping. But after 2 straight sweeps for the Vermillion Tanagers and winning 7 sets in a row, the Tri-Valley Mustangs got going tonight, and they got going in a big way, especially in the 3rd set. But Vermillion was able to come back in the 4th set and finish it off in the 5th set tonight. Again, Vermillion now winners of 3 in a row as they beat the Tri-Valley Mustangs tonight 27-25, 20-25, 12-25, 25-23, and 15-13. It's mentioned in a 5-set thriller. And as we've heard so far from head coach Amy Nelson, Coach Siller has talked about it as well, just continuing to build on momentum that the season has had. And we just got done talking about it a moment ago. For the Vermillion Tanagers, the schedule does not get any easier with what they have coming up in store here very, very soon for Vermillion with these win streaks. They have number 1 Sioux Falls Christian right back here at home on Tuesday. So going to be very tough to find a victory against Sioux Falls Christian. Then you mentioned Madison on the road on Thursday before Vermillion is back home against T area and then on the road against Gayville-Volin during homecoming week. So Vermillion, this next upcoming week, Madison on the road, always a hard trip to make, and then welcoming in number 1 Sioux Falls Christian. Tough schedule ahead, but Vermillion currently on a 3-game winning streak, as again they win tonight 27-25, 20-25, 12-25, 25-23, and 15-13 are your final scores. We're going to step aside. We're going to see if we can't catch up with head coach Amy Nelson, see if we can't catch up with a player as well, and also take a look at scores from across the state of South Dakota. That is on the way next here on Live Ticket TV.
We hope you are all enjoying the student productions of your school. Tonight's event and every event produced by your school during the school year are created, filmed, and produced by the students you love to follow and support. Become a booster of your school's live event coverage by becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to show your support of the athletes and students in your community. As a sponsor, you'll get great visibility for your business, organization, or family by supporting the live productions of your school.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
Back here on Live Ticket TV as Vermillion gets a huge victory tonight over the Tri-Valley Mustangs as we continue here on the postgame show. As coming up here in just a moment, we are going to join with head coach Amy Nelson and talk more about this victory. Also have some big questions to ask Coach Nelson on the way she runs her games, but right now it seems to be working. But first, we're joined with the captain of the volleyball team as we bring a player on here in the postgame show. Claire Doty joins us. And first off, Claire, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't need to be nervous about anything. Going through not only this game tonight with Tri-Valley, getting a huge victory, but the way you have developed. I know I've got my chance to watch you over the past few years on the basketball court, more specifically on the volleyball court. You're in that captain position. How does it feel to be the captain of this team and lead this team to huge victories like we've seen the last 3 games in a row?
It feels good. Yeah.
As captain, they look to you to rely, making things happen with communication. How much has Coach Nelson been preaching communication, and how much has that changed here in the past couple of weeks with your squad?
She's been preaching it a lot, and these last 3 games specifically, we've been communicating a lot more, and it's helped a lot.
We've seen a lot of communication, and one way I want to get into more of a relationship that you have. What is the communication that goes on between you and Brooklyn Voss, or how are you two able to read each other so much?
Well, we've been working together since my sophomore year, her freshman year, and so we just know each other like that.
And it seems to be working out nicely for your squad. What about the rest of the team? I know at points, passes aren't always set up the best for you, and you have to do quite a bit of running. What is that like? How much does that wear on you in a game, especially like tonight with all the extra running that you have to do?
It's tough, but we just have to go on to the next one and hope to get a better pass.
Well, you talk about going on to the next one. Plenty of mistakes that happen during volleyball, not just this game, but always going to happen. What's your mentality when a mistake does happen to make sure you forget about it and bounce on and move on to the next one?
Me personally, I just tell everyone it was my fault and that we got the next one, and if it's someone else, I just tell them to shake it off.
Well, the success of this volleyball team continues, now winning 3 in a row. I know we've seen Coach Nelson excited. You seem a little shy. You haven't shown much expression. It's okay to do so. How does this feel? Take us back to the locker room. What's the excitement right now of winning 3 in a row?
Just that it hasn't been a thing in the past, winning a lot, and so we're very excited.
Well, make sure you go show some more enthusiasm, right? And go enjoy it with your teammates. Thank you so much for joining us with us, all right?
Thank you.
There she is. Once again, it is the captain of the volleyball squad, Claire Doty, here on the postgame show. Well, Claire, I'll have you pass that on right over to Coach Amy Nelson as we're going to join with Coach Amy Nelson as, again, we talk about going into this one. We brought it up several times. Never has Vermillion so far until tonight. You're going to need to put that on the other way. There you go. Flip it around. I say Claire's a little sweaty. She was modest. She ran him quite a bit tonight. I'll have you adjust that as well, a little bit more up to your mouth. There you go. But again, joined now here with Coach Nelson. Coach Nelson, going into this, you had never had a game that didn't finish in a sweep. You have yet to see a 4th or even 5th set tonight. Going into the 4th set, after set number 3, you guys lost 25-12. Things did not look good. What was the message? What was the conversation of getting the girls back into it after going down 2-1 against the Mustangs tonight?
I just, told them that they've got to dig deep, and that they want it. So they went out and they did that. There was a couple times in volleyball you can get down real fast, but you can get up as well. So there's a couple times when they got down and I was getting a little nervous, but then they started making mistakes. So then we started getting up, and I'm so proud of the girls for pulling it off.
I'm going to go right off of what you said. make mistakes, and at points, especially I look at that third set, look at the fourth set, I thought you used it nicely in the fifth set. Why don't you, or what is the thinking behind using timeouts? Because especially in that third set, when things weren't quite out of hand yet, you just let the girls play it out. And eventually things got worse, as we know. But why don't you go to timeouts? What's your thinking with that?
So, yes, there are use timeouts to freeze the other team. But after telling the girls to move and to talk and to have positive attitudes, and they don't do it, I guess I don't know what else to tell them. Yes, we could, like I said, freeze the other team, but sometimes it's like, okay, that is what happens when you don't play like a team. So I probably do need to maybe call some more timeouts, but that honestly was why I did not.
Let them work through it.
Exactly.
As a team.
Exactly.
Try to communicate, see if they can't fix it themselves.
Yes.
Eventually, things get corrected.
Yep.
Again, get a big victory here tonight. Even going back to that first set, I know you really liked your chances going into this game to find a victory against Tri-Valley. You win set number 1, 27-25. After set number 1, what was your level of confidence of not necessarily getting a sweep, but winning against the Mustangs?
I was pretty confident with the girls that they could win this, and so were they. I told them, I said, we've got this, and keep it going. So they did, and we pulled it off.
Well, you go to the fourth set, and then after that, get the victory 25-23, go to the fifth set. What was the conversation, or how confident were you feeling going into that fifth set, knowing you had just won, but one thing you hadn't done yet in this game tonight was get off to a good start? Were you a little nervous about the way things were going to begin, knowing you're only going to 15 points?
Well, we just told the girls that they need to dig deep. And if they really want it, they'll get it. And so, and they did. They hustled a lot in that game. You could just tell that they were really trying hard. So I was proud of them for that.
And we saw O'Neill late there in that fifth set pick up a net violation, of course, in the end.
Yep.
Because of her effort
right.
of just trying to get back into the game. Love to see
yes.
that. And the attitude as well has changed so much with what your squad has been able to do. Now riding this high, knowing what is coming up on Tuesday. I mean, we've all said it. That Tuesday, if you would win, Coach Zeller said it would be an upset of the decade.
Oh, yes, it would be.
I mean, nothing against your squad.
No,
Sioux Falls Christian.
Sioux Falls Christian is stacked.
What is? And you're going to be missing players in there as well with some stuff that's going on. What is kind of the game plan? Not just Sioux Falls Christian, but making sure you continue to take the progress that you've built here in the past week and continuing to spring forward and move forward, even with a team like Sioux Falls Christian in the way.
Yes. So I'm pretty much, I've told the girls, we have nothing to lose. So go out, have fun. I know that sounds weird when you're talking about a high school sport and you're telling the girls, have fun, but that's part of volleyball. Have fun, good attitudes. So just do that. Like I said, we don't have anything to lose.
Certainly don't, and everything to lose for the Chargers.
Yes.
The way they have played so far this season, 7-0, ranked number 1 in Class A. Well, Coach, I know you're excited. Go out there and enjoy this one a little bit. Congratulations on the 3-game win streak.
Thanks.
And we'll catch up with you on Tuesday again, all right?
Yes, sounds good. Thanks, Heath.
There she is, head coach Amy Nelson here on the Live Ticket TV postgame show. I'm Heath Nimke. We're going to step aside one final time. When we come back, we wrap things up and give you your final scores from teams around the area. That's on the way next here on the postgame show.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
We hope you are all enjoying the student productions of your school. Tonight's event and every event produced by your school during the school year are created, filmed, and produced by the students you love to follow and support. Become a booster of your school's live event coverage by becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to show your support of the athletes and students in your community. As a sponsor, you'll get great visibility for your business, organization, or family by supporting the live productions of your school.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
Welcome back to the Live Ticket TV postgame show as we wrap things up here in Vermillion as once again the Tanagers get the victory over the Tri-Valley Mustangs 3-2 by final scores of 27-25, 20-25, 12-25, 25-23, 15-13. Vermillion is victorious here at their home gym with now 3 straight victories on the season. Quick look at scores from around the state of South Dakota in volleyball action. Closer to home, number 5 Canton right now leads over Elk Point Jefferson 2-1 in sets, and set number 4 Elk Point Jefferson is leading 17-15. In other action, as I mentioned earlier, Chester area beat Parker 25-3. We have not gotten any more scores. Again, that was just in set number 1, and that was quite some time ago. Also in other action, receiving votes, Hamlin is trailing against Mailbank in set number 3, 19-12. As of right now, that is tied at 1-1 apiece. And earlier this evening, Del Rapids swept past T area 25-27, 25-21, 25-15. And as a look at scores for volleyball here in the area, I'm Heath Nimke, Live Ticket TV. Athletics continues tomorrow night as we get you set for Friday Night Lights. between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Millbank Bulldogs. You can catch it all right here on Live Ticket TV. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page as well. But nonetheless, our pregame show begins at 5 o'clock with the kickoff set for 6 between last year's semifinal matchup. I will tell you this much. They look like two totally different teams. Should be a great one. We'll have all the coverage tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock. Until then, I'm Heath Nimke. Big thank you to Jody Zeller along with our producer, Cole Larsch. Until tomorrow, have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening.